Is this the smartphone of the year? Firstly, guys, if I look and sound terrible, it's because I look and feel terrible because there's some horrible bug going around. However, I had to make this video for you because I'm really torn. You see, I've never done a smartphone of the year roundup. One, because it takes too long and I can't really be bothered, and secondly because I'm a bit indecisive. However, last year I did crown the Pixel 7 Pro my smartphone of the year because it was utterly fantastic. The Pixel 8 Pro is potentially going to pick up the crown this year as well, but in 2023 Apple has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. And that's because the iPhone 15 Pro Max is really good. And I think last year I was just a bit iPhoned out. It was just boring. The iPhone 14 Pro Max was just another iPhone, and equally it had some issues. For instance, the battery life was worse for me than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I was just a bit bored of it all. But I think Apple has done a lot this year to put the iPhone 15 Pro Max in line for the coveted and much lauded Mark Ellis Reviews Smartphone of the Year competition. Now, there are arguments for and against the iPhone 15 Pro Max being the phone of the year. In today's video, I'm going to give you the good stuff, and in Friday's video, I'm going to give you the not so good stuff. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell not to miss that. But let's get into what makes this a contender for this crown. Just a quick word from today's sponsor, which is MOFT. And I've been using two of MOFT's products on my iPhone 15 Pro Max for the last few weeks. The first is the MOVAS vegan leather case, which is absolutely lovely. It doesn't discolor, which is unusual for a white case, and I think it looks fantastic against the natural titanium. It protects the phone fantastically, and that MOVAS leather combines durability with pollution-free materials, so I'm doing my bit for the planet as well. There's also loads of colors to choose from, and the magnets on the back, which can be used for MagSafe accessories, are stronger than ever before. The second accessory is the MOFT tripod, and this has three modes. The first is standing, which is perfect for video calls and consuming content, particularly from your favorite YouTubers. Then we have floating, which provides 0 to 90 degrees of adjustment and is particularly useful for top-down shots of stuff if you're a content creator. Honestly guys, if only I'd had this over the last few months while I was smashing out my TikToks. Then we have vlogging, which you can see me using here. And once again, this is fantastic for content creation. Rather than holding your phone and accidentally covering up the mic and making the footage all shaky, you can use the MOFT tripod to keep things nice and stable and ensure people can hear you. I've been using it all the time while I've been using my phone to create content, and it's quick to unfold, it's super small so it doesn't bother you while it's in your pocket, and it's incredibly versatile given all those use cases. MOFT really does keep smashing it out of the park with these accessories. They're not expensive, they feel really premium, and they last the test of time. And what's more, they have some fantastic Black Friday deals. So you can get $10 off for orders over $50, enjoy a $60 discount for orders exceeding $200, and benefit from up to 60% off the entire range. Don't miss out on this, guys. The link is below. So first up, we have the fact that the camera on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is damn near perfect. And I've always said that camera comparisons and camera opinions in general, when it comes to smartphones, are really subjective. But all most of us want from a camera is good image quality, reliability, and options, and the iPhone smashes all of those things. The image quality is beautiful. If you want to take a photo of a fast-moving object like your child or your dog, you can do it, and it will be pin sharp pretty much every single time. And when it comes to options, we get 24mm, and then 2x, and then 5x. That is all you need. 10x is just silly, and the key thing with the iPhone 15 Pro Max is that all of those focal ranges work perfectly. They're sharp, you get just enough reach no matter what you want to take a photo of, and the low light capabilities of this smartphone across the entire focal range is amazing. I've long said that Pixel phones produce my favourite photos, but that's because they have a certain look, and that look isn't for everyone. So while this is still my favourite smartphone camera system, I fully appreciate that the iPhone produces images that most people like, and it still shoots the best video on the market. Next up, we have the fact that the build quality of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is utterly fantastic. I am going to take it out of this MOFT case because, well, you just have to appreciate this titanium casing. And the reduction in weight that you get from that material is, well, it's welcome, obviously, but equally, it doesn't dilute just how good this phone feels. The Pixel 8 Pro is a beautiful, beautiful device. People aren't going to like this. Android fans out there are not going to like this. There is still something just a notch above about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And in a world where I think personally we get shortchanged occasionally by build quality on premium products, Apple doesn't do that on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. They absolutely nail it. Whenever I do a comparison between the iPhone and an Android competitor, plenty of people tell me it's a complete waste of time. And their reasoning kind of makes sense. It's the fact that if you're using an iPhone and if you're embedded within the Apple ecosystem, you'll never change. And I do agree with that to a degree. However, this year I've seen more people than last year in my comment sections saying that they're thinking about changing from the iPhone to something else. They're getting bored of iOS, they're getting bored of the iPhone itself, they're getting bored of Apple. Now this tells me two things. It tells me that the market for switchers is definitely there, so there are people out there who are thinking about going from the iPhone to, let's say, the Pixel 8 Pro. The second thing it tells me is that the people who are thinking about switching haven't been sucked into the Apple ecosystem. I have, big time, and if you're watching this thinking, why on earth would you switch between this and this, then you probably have as well. I haven't seen any other argument to say that there is a better ecosystem than what Apple offers. If you think there is, let me know in the comments. It's just that integration between this, my Apple TV, my iPads, my MacBook, and two other devices, which I'll come onto in a moment, which makes the iPhone completely indispensable. And we can look at this two ways. It's either Apple being very sneaky and tying people into their products so we spend more and more and more with them, or it's the fact that the Apple ecosystem is brilliant. I think it's both. I think Apple knows exactly what it's doing. It knows how to get people to buy its products. It's why Apple is so profitable. But equally and reassuringly, they know that the ecosystem has to be good. It has to deliver. And it does that in spades, which is why I think the Apple ecosystem is the iPhone 15 Pro Max's most impressive feature. I've tried a few different smartwatches this year, so Samsung, Google Pixel and Garmin have all tried to get my attention away from the Apple Watch Ultra, and all of them have done it to a degree. But I keep coming back to this. It's just my safe haven. It's my comfortable pair of slippers. The fact I can take it out on a run with just my AirPods is just amazing, and the integration, again, the ecosystem thing with Apple Fitness Plus is unmatched. And then we have those AirPods Pro 2. Now again, I've lost count of how many earbuds I've tried this year. That is part of my job. I keep coming back to the AirPods Pro 2, and that's because they just work. But I think the other reason I keep coming back to these two devices is the iPhone. Because without the iPhone, the Apple Watch is utterly useless. You can't use an Apple Watch without your iPhone. Well, you can, but you need an iPhone to get it set up, and they go together. Now, the AirPods Pro 2, you can technically use these as regular earbuds on other phones by Bluetooth, but you're then missing out on most of the stuff that you're paying for. And it's that stuff that works with the iPhone. And this brings us back to the ecosystem again, and the fact that it is not just a software ecosystem, it's a hardware ecosystem as well. And for me, it is the AirPods Pro 2, the Apple Watch Ultra, the first generation, which makes this a contender for the phone of the year because it has such an awesome bunch of hardware accessories. Something I am very conscious of during this analysis, if we can call it that, is the fact that for this to be crowned the phone of the year, you have to be really, really bought into Apple. Because clearly, beyond the fantastic camera system, that beautiful build quality, and stuff I haven't talked about, like the display and what else? Oh, and iOS, obviously. Apart from all of that, the thing that I'm really, really enamored with the iPhone 15 Pro Max is everything Apple has built around it. It's that software and hardware ecosystem that make this so good. And that begs the question, what if you don't care about that stuff? If there's one thing I've learned over the last few years of running this channel, it's that some people will do anything they can to avoid buying an iPhone, particularly if it's as expensive as the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So calling this the smartphone of the year is quite a tough call because it does rely on fandom. Whereas I'd argue, and you may disagree with this, that something like the Pixel 8 Pro isn't quite so heavily reliant on people being fans of the brand. I think people buy this because they want a really, well, they want the best Android phone going. So for that reason, I am going to defer my decision about this phone for now. As mentioned at the start of this video, on Friday, I'm going to give you the counter argument to why this isn't, no, why this is, basically, I'm going to tell you why I think this may not be the smartphone of the year. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell not to miss that video. And if you're curious about the Pixel 8 Pro, keep watching for a link to my review.